I did, but. You never. Close it though, so it doesn't. See that.
Only this giant. At 6 o'clock, we will go ahead and call a meeting to order for the Pleasant View Planning Commission, October 5th, 2023 at 6 p.m. We'll go ahead and start by asking Commissioner Potter to lead us in the pledge of allegiance and open prayer, reading of the stretching flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful this evening for the opportunity to gather as a body, grateful for the chance as a planning commission to come together to discuss the matters within the city. We're grateful, Father, for this beautiful area that we live in and for the opportunities and freedoms we enjoy. We are deeply grateful for the sacrifice that makes those freedoms possible. We're so grateful for the military members who keep us free each and every day, and for the other uniformed officers here at Pleasant View and elsewhere that also keep us safe. We're thankful, Father, for the responsibilities we have as a commission. We pray that as we discuss the matters this evening, that we may not be led, be guided to make the decisions that will be best for the city. We pray that we will have open ears, we'll be able to listen to one another, and especially to those who have prepared the information that we'll receive this evening. Again, we do love thee. We thank thee for this beautiful country we live in, this beautiful city. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. We have our agenda set for us. We have our agenda set for us tonight, and we have the declaration of conflicts of interest. The commission will be able to read the agenda, assuming whether it's declare conflict of interest.
I do need to declare a conflict of interest tonight. I am Weaver County's representative for the project that is on the agenda tonight, so I will actually recuse myself and sit in the audience tonight.
Okay, so noted. We'll go ahead and we will look at item number 2, which is the meeting minutes approval. Consideration of approving the meeting minutes for November 3rd, 2022, June 1st, 2023, July 6th, 2023, and August 3rd, 2023. All have a chance to review. Are there any other comments? Any comments been turned to staff at this time?
Questions or for the meeting, or is this one at a time?
We'll approve all ones that you address. Ones that you have certain.
Well, November 2023, I wasn't on the commission, so I shouldn't do it.
Okay.
So we're taking that one. On June 1st, we had that was the meeting we were going to I just wonder if we're going to really have this. Shouldn't they be a little more descriptive of what went on in the meetings in terms of who proposed the motion and who opposed the motion? Generally, in our minutes, we don't name people. Maybe that's nice to be anonymous, but 10 years from now, if you want to know who has their hands in the kitty or who had an ulterior motive, if there's no name for that, the people that propose or oppose, we really have nothing to go back to.
we used to always do that, and that was, I guess, the question or change, I guess, that she did. Well, I was doing typing her notes.
She's the first person I worked with here to prepare them, so I don't know, I don't know what her logic was for that. I'm not opposed to that. I would say that the most important detail is probably the clarity of the decision and the motion and the reasoning behind it. You know, if you want to include the names of who was for and against, and check like this, as you debated a particular subject, that's fine. I don't think it's absolutely necessary. I think it's more the arguments for and against and the final conclusion, and any facts that are involved.
This is a case in point on that particular meeting. Like I said, 7 commissioners were here along with myself in addition. And then there's a motion, it becomes, the motion passed unanimously. I didn't vote that night because I was an alternate. But I would have opposed it if I could have voted. I just hate to have to say that the decision was unanimous. When not everybody voted, I don't know, it just seems to me like. I see that this happens 7 years.
But it was, I can see that, who was the alternate, not really that, maybe that's.
Yeah, I think that's great. I can talk about that if you're not with that.
I just, 10, 20 years from now, my kids wonder why Skyline Drive does look to you. I would not want to be children in the same thing. The July 6th meeting, again, the 7 commissioners starting up plus myself. When you get to the second, well, it's probably like later on down, consideration of an application for approval of minor subdivision for the property located at approximately 883 West Pleasant View Drive. It says the planning commission held a public hearing in August 2023. This is for a July meeting, so we can't have a meeting referencing August 2023 in the minutes.
Okay,
Let's go to 2022. I don't know.
I'll ask her to go back and check.
Just a question starting. And then at the end, the motion passed 5-1. I again was the only one opposing the motion of a soda shop with no real access. It wasn't utilized, driving in front of the straw market. How did we get from 7 commissioners at the start of the meeting with myself, maybe 8, to a 5-1 decision at the end of the meeting?
Yeah, this was also brought up by another commissioner. I can work with her and correct it. My recollection is that no one left from the meeting. It was, like you said, the soda shop. It was a long debate, but everyone stayed. My recollection.
So do we accept these with the table, accept these with you getting the chance to give her updating and having staff review, or we need to table it until we get a chance?
I think you can.
The changes.
I think you can, if you're okay with it, you can direct staff to go re-review the audio or the tape to,
For the attendance.
well, yeah, the information to just clarify.
Specifically on those.
Yes.
That's fine. I don't want to make a class. I'm just going through and wondering.
No, it's okay.
I questioned the same thing, not on this, but what about 2 months ago? I said, because she's a different style than what I was used to. So I asked him, I was like, okay, Brad, she does it this way, and I'm used to this way, what's required, I guess.
Mhm.
And he said some of them not requirements.
And some of it is stylistic, and if there's certain things, preference wise that you have, we can absolutely look at that. We're just grateful to have a contractor kind of helping us keep up to speed on these, because obviously we can get out of pace pretty quickly.
It's more of what's required.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate if you're going from an audio recording, you're not going to know who said what. I don't know if they're watching a video while they're doing this, or if it's just audio. Anyway, I would sure like to know who made the motion and who opposed it.
Well, one question I have on that is I don't think we detail that out really
Well,
in our.
Trying to get better at it, and a lot of times, I think, I know the staff in the past, one's taken notes and said, okay, here's the motion, so you're kind of, when there's a motion.
But I think
What's
it's
that?
a very
Used to run.
valid point.
Yeah, because I think the person when that to the one kind of knows. As Jill was talking.
I think it's a very valid point, though, when it comes to the info, that we know who had it and the pre-COVID.
I agree. I agree for that.
So we may want to change the style of our votes then instead of a voice vote or roll call vote. It's gonna be a lot easier to get that data. If you ask the commissioners like one by one,
Or,
specify their name.
or we're saying that all opposed, that's like, okay, Commissioner Colorado,
Yeah,
or, we call out a specific. Then at least you would know.
yeah. So you'll, yeah, note it in audio after the motion. It's been voted on. Who voted for what? And then-
And that's what I tried to say, it's a unanimous vote, so that be highlighted.
Yeah,
So I think we did that. That's a good point. Good call.
Have a suggestion, as long as we're talking about numbers, I think it would be helpful if they had page numbers
okay.
for each individual date, like, because I had noticed some of those too, and it's just so much easier if you can say, this date, page number 3 has a correction, so we're not,
The meeting date for each of them. Yeah, that's a great suggestion. And then I actually will bring one up from Commissioner Wilkinson that just mentioned that the date on the November 3rd, 22 document was inaccurate. It's listed in 2023, so we're amenable to that change as well. It should be changed back to 2022. The first page or so, I would. That was by email that was submitted.
Hey, with the suggestions that we've had tonight, we'll ask staff to come back and review the items specifically. Do we have any motions?
I have one more, sorry, I overlooked one because I was taking notes on the other suggestions. There's one that was stated that there's a Commissioner Barlow, and so we will need to go back and correct that information. So I don't know, I'm trying to figure out would be either Commissioner Barlow or Commissioner Stoller. Those are the most similar names.
And thank you for your thorough review on those, frankly, very appreciated.
Hey, anybody like to make a motion, table, or do you go ahead and accept it without, research?
I'll go ahead and make a motion that the notes be amended as we talked about. And that once they are amended, that they can be approved.
We have a motion on the table for approval. We have a second.
I'll second.
Commissioner Barr is first, and Commissioner Potter is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. All right, let's go ahead and move to item number 3, the administrative items. This is consideration regarding the recommendation of Far West Industrial Subdivision 5 and Subdivision 5 amendment, which proposes to add 2 lots and amend 2 existing lots in the Simon Geo subdivision and the Wasatch State subdivision. And a reminder, this is a public hearing, so after the same presentation of my rest of the public hearing. We'll turn the time over to staff and this for the action.
Thank you, Chair. Again, this is a 2-lot subdivision, like 2 new lots are being created. There's also a road that is leading to those 2 lots near the lots, and then there are 2 lots that are also being amended.
Is this okay that I put up or?
Sure, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you. In order to get the road, the property for the road to be dedicated as a road, there's the 2 existing lots that are being property will need to be taken from existing lots. That's to the south of the road. I don't have a pointer for sure, but On the right side of the screen, there's the road and curves and, so if you look right here, this road is on the north edge of a existing lot in the Wasatch Estate subdivision. This is the horseshoe pond right here. And then this is another existing lot. You can see right here, there's a little property triangle. And so property from both of those subdivisions will be taken to be dedicated for a road. Consent has been received from both property owners for that to occur. Staff has worked with both Weber County and Ocean Star Properties to obtain that consent as both of those existing subdivisions would be affected. In the case of Ocean Star, it's not on this plat, but there's a road requirement on I believe it's a Sign Road subdivision as well. We have it on the map, it would be up in this area. There's a lot just to the north of that where there's an existing road. I believe basically it's a road. It's meant essentially, I don't know exactly how it's listed on the plat, but what we've been working with them is this on our master road street master plan. This road will fulfill the road requirement in that area west, and so the need for that road will go away. And so what staff has committed to do is at least pursue the removal of that road requirement in that area, since it will be duplicate. And they've consented to then allow that property corner to be part of the road, which is needed for the curb radius, turning radius for the road.
Can I just stop?
Sure.
For context, just so we can make sure, some of this is built, some of this been developed on there. The first road on the far right is curving on, that's the existing road.
This road right here.
That's the existing road, that's,
It's Parkland Boulevard.
Parkland Boulevard.
So Rulon hits over in and then it,
Well, it comes like that. and it
Uh-huh.
comes through. So the new road is the one that's coming across next to
this is the one we got the WACOG funds for in partnership with Far West.
the, right, and it'll go all the way out towards the freeway.
And then
That's-
create a frontage road, come through and over, punch out by the light, by the Jimmy John's.
Oh, we'll come back to that.
At the bottom. So it's a giant loop.
Okay, so it doesn't come clear across the front by the freeway, it comes back up.
It does, no, let me. Sorry. So it'll come over here
Right?
and wrap around
So it's
and
not-
come clear
okay.
down here, and then it'll punch over here and
Okay,
then down.
all right, so I was following along the frontage, but there's also a road that comes out right there that can develop Maverick, but it's gonna come out at the gym
Mhm.
or the line.
Yep, exactly, for safety reasons.
Okay. Thank you, that pulls it all over from the
And it's not the, sorry, Brandon, to jump in, but the entirety of the road isn't happening right now. Right now, we're just looking at a portion of it.
Yeah.
Because there's development that's happening that they're ready to move forward with it, which is exciting.
So the road will lead to two proposed lots after it amends these lots to the east. There's lot 2 right here, and lot 1 right here. The current city boundary between Far West and Pleasant View is right here, just to the south of the road until it curves. And so most of lot 2 is in Pleasant View and most of lot 1 is in Far West, and we'll hit a little bit more on that later. Additionally, there is, I refer to it in the staff report as a narrow sliver of property. It's technically 2 parcels. Any motion you make, you can just refer to it as multiple parcels north of the road. There's a narrow sliver of property that should be incorporated into the right of way or otherwise dispersed of. Staff's recommendation is that those parcels should be incorporated into the right of way. It's the most simple option. There were some design considerations, and one of the other property owners, I think it's Tesoro, the applicant indicated that location is what made it work, but we're trying to get the property to be part of the road, so there's not this leftover parcels, and that would be, I think, the best case scenario. there's no minimum, this is the MP1 zone, there's no minimum lot size. Setbacks for the building will be addressed, for buildings on lots 1 and 2 will be addressed at the time of site plan approval for any approved lots. And then given that there is a portion of lot 2 in the far west and a portion of lot 1 in Pleasant View, there's a couple of options to address that. Either both cities can provide site plan approval, or there can be a municipal boundary adjustment, which is specified in the state code as an available process. Again, we have written permission from the property owners where the lots are being amended. And then so we covered the strip. There is an alternate design for the road has been considered. The road alignment that's being shown is considered to be preferable by staff. The other option would just come slightly, it would dip slightly to the south, similar to the way it does here. But we feel like this is a cleaner option. And that was sort of a fallback option until we were able to get in contact with the property owner that owns the property to the north, where they also have that road to the north side. The road easement or requirement that's proposed to go away, will be pursued to go away. Let's see. With regards to providing necessary services, we have most of the information from the applicant with regards to that. We do need a will serve letter for preliminary water and secondary water. I know that the applicant stated that they are almost completed with annexing into Buena Vista, but we will need a full will serve letter, not just an availability letter, but a full will serve letter with and that addresses both culinary and secondary water for the project as secondary and culinary requirements for development in the city. Finally, the staff or the planning commission should make clear that Pleasant View, Pleasant View is only considering approval of the portion of the plat that is within city jurisdiction, and which is the portion that's shown on this sheet. There are 3 main sheets on the plat. The other 2, one is to the north, which shows the rest of lot 1, and so I guess, and then there's one to the south where it shows a little bit more of the road. So I think that if you decide to recommend approval, I think that probably the ideal language would be just the portion of the plat that's within city jurisdiction is what we recommend approval of. Far West has already provided preliminary approval, to my understanding, of the portion of the plat in their city jurisdiction. So I'll just recap the recommended conditions of approval by staff. Staff recommends that the planning commission make a recommendation of approval to the council of Far West Industrial Subdivision, subject to the following recommended conditions of approval. There are multiple parcels of property that should be incorporated in the right of way or otherwise addressed and dispersed of. Staff's of the opinion that those should be incorporated into the right of way as the most simple option. Staff also recommends the planning commission should make clear that the planning commission, if recommending approval, is only recommending approval of a portion of the plat that is within Pleasant View City. The applicant again needs to provide a full will serve letter for culinary and secondary water. Staff recommendation is that should be provided prior to council consideration for preliminary approval. And I think that's an important enough item that probably should get that buttoned down. And then we do have some noticing requirements prior to going to council. So I don't know exactly that we have 5 days we need to notice it. We would need it before that 5-day margin, which is for the applicant's information in order to be on a council meeting as staff's recommendation. Then also either a boundary line adjustment would need to occur prior to the time of site plan approval or mutual approval of a site plan by both cities at the time of site plan approval. Another condition I've not mentioned yet is that, that's being recommended is that, Weaver County review, the surveyors and reporters office review this plat as soon as possible. Given that there are 3 governmental agencies, that either have some jurisdiction or input into the plat, and we'd like to just get their eyes on it to review it as soon as possible to resolve any potential issues. There is a fee for that, and we can discuss that with the applicant. But that we also have an interlocal agreement. That's the requirement that we are requiring in plats at this time. And then the applicant should also provide a note recommending on the plat that specifies that adjoining parcels that are not specified as lots to the north of the road or elsewhere within city limits shown on the plat are not vesting any building rights and will need to subdivide in the future to ensure that they meet requirements of the city subdivision ordinance. These 2 pieces of property are not actually vesting building rights in their parcels and not applying to become building lots at this time. And there may be others as well. Staff would recommend that the applicant could work on providing language to that effect in a clear manner. The next issue is that staff recommends is that the conditions of the engineer's review memo should be addressed and on a plat and any corrections made, as well as any additional comments provided by the city engineer to this version of the plat prior to final approval. And the reason why I made that last comment is that the city engineer, this is a slightly newer version than with most of the corrections from the city engineer, but she didn't have a full review of this. And so we just discussed requesting that additional recommendation for a condition of approval that any of the forthcoming comments would be addressed prior to final approval as well. And a couple more just to finish up, if not already shown on the plat, staff recommends the applicant should include a description noting the differences between the amended plats and the original plats it's amending. This is actually spelled out as a requirement in state code. It may well already be there in the boundary descriptions, but we just need to make sure that that is addressed, which is again a requirement of state code. So staff recommends that as a condition of approval. And then other adjustments necessary to record the plat are recommended, and then show that any former property lines that are on the plat that are included within the extents of the current subdivision with parcel numbers while indicating that they're being superseded by the current plat. I think that wasn't too much of a mouthful. Does the commission have any questions for me? Sorry, what's that?
Question for staff is, and looking at the aerial photo, I'm just curious if it comes in proximity of the existing buildings and stuff that we have there. They're not shown on the plan.
There's the winery right here. It's quite a distance away from them, and then
That's all our stuff though, right there on the south side of the winery, right?
sorry, what do you mean by stuff?
Isn't that our pavilion and our bathrooms and stuff?
Those are Weaver County's.
Yeah, they're to the south of the road. So, and they're no, they're safe
Right
distance
here.
away.
Well, this is just potential road. I guess it won't line up with that cul-de-sac. I can't see that.
No, it,
Dana's been, yeah. I know that Dana's been okay with it.
Okay.
So,
I think part of it is because the cul-de-sac really just has a limited, I mean, path or flow. It's not interconnected, and so it's really not going to provide a major benefit to have those line up, and with the way the winery is, it's just not going to pencil out.
So just for definition, we've got everything that's Pleasant View is, we call it eastern panel, and then north, all the way to, we just have north of the new road, all the way out.
the what's starting of the road side.
The Pleasant View city limits would be all the way, that new road, all the way out. It's a lot too,
Yes.
and the Bailey border.
So the city boundaries are all this property is in Pleasant View, and it's everything north of this line. And then the city boundary actually turns this way in this area. And so this is also part of Pleasant View.
So with that, will you remind and Sarah, so I know where I'm going with these questions. We're doing this in conjunction with Middle East roads and bylaws.
Oh, did I say Pleasant Grove? Oh, sorry.
I chuckled at that. That's good.
I have.
For the record, we're Pleasant.
I apologize.
We're Pleasant. Did we?
Discussion there. Where it takes the bend, yeah, the end there, and here in south of that, way, not north of that, way. North of Pleasant. South of Pleasant.
No.
North and south too.
So south is, this is far west, and this is Pleasant View in this area, and then this is also Pleasant View.
So that's why I wanted to make that clarification so everybody knew kind of where we're talking.
Yeah, and there is,
My question that I have is, we spent years and years and years working far less. And with the concerns to have CBA, commercial development agreements,
Yes.
and how, one time we would spell out specifically who was leading the action, so one had to come to one group, and it kind of fell apart, and they tried to do it again. Where are we in that part of the process? Is that no longer a joint community type of thing? Who's gonna drive the development plan? Does this come, it goes back and forth, and there is no one driving, and there's no green tires. Okay, that's why I wanted to kind of understand who's driving the agreement with whoever, because it sounds like someone wants to develop on lot 1 and 2. Is that kind of where I'm getting?
So the zoning in both cities is similar, and so there is an anticipation of manufacturing on both of those and some type of transition. I know Far West has some commercial down south of where that is right now, but no, there's not a real coordinated approval effort right now. I know that there were agreements in the past, but it's more just coordination on the construction and completion of the roadway. And then just kind of letting each jurisdiction work with the developers in their jurisdictions. And to Brandon's point with that lot too, it does have a little bit of intersection with both of the cities. And so it's just working through that, whether or not they want approvals from both cities or they want to look at a boundary line adjustment.
So this particular item is not a agreement for this.
No. Well, except for the road. Yeah.
Except for the road, but yeah.
That's currently where we're focused on with the current zone in 1. But does it match the master plan? And once upon a time, we say, oh, surrounding cities, we're saying, here's what we want, our commercial, here's where we have, town plan meetings and everything else to try to list out the development. It sounds like this is more industrial where it's potentially high density over in this part of their city and part of the city and then commercial and this is sounding more or less industrial. Does that match with our general plan? Is that still part of the general plan?
And I will say, we did in the notice that Brandon prepared, get a copy over to Far West, so they're aware of the decisions and discussions this evening. And I think if there were concerns, they would have been broadcast or whatnot. But we're readily discussing this project with Far West and coordinating. It's not, we're not doing this in silos, but we're also not dictating what they're doing in their city and vice versa.
So a couple notes. So again, these are the 2 lots that are vesting building rights going from parcels to vested building lots. If this plat is approved, the applicant is here tonight, and we're also Weaver County's agent is here. If you have any questions for him as well.
So it wasn't the portion of primarily lot 1, is that what was in?
Yes. Oh, yeah, sorry, lot 2. Yeah, this portion right here. No, this is lot 2. and this-
Sorry, they're tiny little font numbers. I don't know if that lot 1, lot 2.
Okay, any other questions for the staff before we give the petition? Okay, if we get the petitioner to come up, state your name and address for the record.
My name's Jared Boyer, you want my full address or Salt Lake City work?
Just, yeah, that's all.
Okay, that's all I could. First off, just want to start off by saying Amy and Brandon have been awesome. Brandon did a phenomenal job outlining some of the nuances and some of the challenges we've had. Working with adjacent property owners to get this, plan finalized to a point where everyone agrees. Between Weaver, Far West, and private owners as well, so. We've had communication with everyone, and everyone seems to be on board with what is presented before you today. And as noted, Far West has just approved this preliminary plat as well. So I don't know if there's any other information that I can answer for you. I think Brandon did a really good job. But I most want to be here tonight to answer any questions that the commission had for this project.
Question from the commission.
One thing that I do want to note, and you can scroll this down.
Uh-huh.
Can I step over here? I'm not by the.
Just take your mic with you. Sorry.
There's a pointer. We can.
Make sure it is on. Ready? Do you need to?
Okay, here. Oh, that's perfect. So this line right here, just below lot one, to your point. Far West had plans to have a lot of commercial uses in that area, and so it's not entirely industrial. And so one of the things that we negotiated with the city of Far West was to have that line at the southernmost part of lot one is effectively the end of the industrial area for the city of Far West. And so the adjacent landowner just south of there is under current negotiations with Target. To put a large Target and a few outlying pads in that area. And so I don't know how those negotiations are going. But last I spoke with them, that was the plans to put a commercial use in that area to transition to, you know, the Maverick and some of the other uses that are currently there along that 27.
Really good, coming. We've heard that before.
I'm sure you have heard, sorry. I'm sure the Walmart almost came, Target's almost coming, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but it is active.
Okay.
So the question I had for you is, you heard our staff. You can pull on this, staff recommendations that are need to be addressed before this improvement we follow in the next section, or do you have any major concerns or issues with the staff recommendations that we as a group need to hear before? You're okay with all of these recommendations?
I am okay with all those recommendations. We've been in active communication with Brandon and Amy, and they've done a phenomenal job outlining exactly what their expectations are. We just received approval from Bonavista this week on the annexation to the water district and the approval from the Lieutenant Governor's office. They've received that, and they're going to be reporting that to the county. So that's one of the biggest hurdles that we need to get over. All the other items on there, I view as minor items that are going to be easy to address in the coming months.
Okay, any other questions for the commissioner?
Thank you.
We might type back up as we get into it. I think.
Okay,
I'd like to make a recommendation and go ahead and open to a public hearing at this time. One motion goes. We got a motion to open the public hearing. We got a second. We have a second. All in favor, say aye. Unanimous, we now have public hearings. So we'll go ahead and take comments from the audience, and you can either be the audience or representative can comment on this pro or con, or doesn't matter, because we mentioned that we can think.
Yes.
Sir, do you have a comment from one or the other that you would like to?
We've been working for a long time to move forward with the horseshoe piece of property, and yes, so this has been a long time coming.
That was a question I was, this fact of the issue. Some thought was to maybe develop it, some thought was. Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, please.
That area, I should say, that would include the horseshoe. It, oh, no, sorry.
that's all right.
You did good.
But as far as the horseshoe pond itself goes, it will remain a stormwater pond. Weaver County would like to enlarge the size of that pond and do some additional design work on it. We don't know exactly what that looks like, but we're working on that. And in addition to that, our Parks and Rec department will be coming up with a plan to put some kind of a park or a recreational element on that property. So we'll beautify it, we'll make it a place where people want to go. It may not be a place where people want to swim, we may not recommend that, but it's not good water.
That's if we have commercial,
All around it.
you've got to just with the items, commercial use, some type of a beautified.
We won't develop acres on it. It will remain open space.
I guess I should clarify that whole area is something that we were working on for a long time. When I mentioned the horseshoe, that's part of it.
What's that?
Funded with fish someday.
Possibly.
What's wrong with water?
It's just stormwater. It's run off the roads, and so it's got oil and chemicals potentially, things like that.
It's regulated by our BWR and all of that when you start applying it and control.
Yeah. So we'll look at all of that, though. There are a lot of options and nothing is going to start.
Well, I just ask for history, I mean, I drove out there tonight, and you have a lovely set of restrooms with
Yes.
drinking fountains and what did it used to be and why did that change?
Yeah, so it was a park previously. And like you said, people could go eat lunch there and walk around. It had restrooms. The restrooms are no longer functional. They've all been broken out and destroyed. There is water to the property. So in the past, there was an agreement between Weaver County and Pleasant View to make it some kind of recreational area. So it's interesting, when this was created as a stormwater pond, all of the fill material went to cover the landfill on 24th Street. So that's kind of how this came to be. Weaver County originally owned the property, eventually sold it. It went through several iterations of developers, and we've been managing the stormwater pond, but it wasn't in our best interest to have a pond we didn't own that played such a major role. So we wanted to own that property again. It was the right time to purchase it.
This discussion's been going on since 2016. Like,
Yeah.
ownership and discussion about whether or not to acquire all of these things for a long time.
It could be a great asset to center part of the city over there, in the commercial. Next. Any other questions? Any other comments from the public? Okay, no other comments from the public. We have a motion to close the public hearing.
I would make a motion to close the public hearing.
We have a motion, a second.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And Steve and Jeff. Okay, comments. Now, all we're doing is basically allowing for one building lot. And with the recommendations from the city staff and including the others that they put as part of the type that we're discussing.
That's accurate.
Any other question?
Fire bill.
Yes, I have a question about the residential property that's there. Right on I-15. Is that gonna exist the way it is now with the commercial property that's potentially going in? We know that.
The developer could probably speak to this, but from what I understand, it is no longer occupied and they're looking to develop the area.
Correct.
Okay, don't wanna,
It's been purchased.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, no. When, we're recommending those to the city council, like, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anybody like to make a proposal? Table of action. And then
A motion to approve is read by staff. All the articles and minutes. That were read by staff earlier. Motion to approve the city council.
And
I was going to say they have recommended approval of the portion of the plat that is within Pleasant-East City's jurisdiction.
That's read. Yeah.
and the minor sliver, plot slivers are included.
Yeah, the property for the.
Are you okay with just? So we have a first, we have a second. We have a second. I'll second. I have a second, but. So Dean and then Chad. First and second, any discussion on the motion on the table? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And unanimous. Okay. That should work for us. Thank you very much. Now, are we allowed to ask? Because I was trying to keep it to, we're just looking at the building lot. We know what's going in there, what's the plans. Are you going to share at this time?
Yeah, we have just a spec plan. I don't know if it's.
Not that it matters or it's relevant to our discussion, but it's also fun to kind of know what's coming, know what we hope to have coming.
Susan Swanson will give a minute here.
I second that.
Industrial park.
That's okay, we don't care where they go.
So currently, we do not have any interested companies. One of the things that CD with industrial is we start building a spec warehouse or flex office or warehousing and distribution. And usually about halfway through the construction is when companies become interested. So our current plans to develop Class A office, not office, Class A distribution and warehousing. But we do not have any interested companies.
Okay, talk mostly a lot more, or a lot two, both, similar.
So are you saying like target like shopping center or distribution?
Like a shopping center on the.
That's the lower.
That's your
That's not
part,
the-
No, but that's her.
That's what I've heard, and that's on the adjacent property.
Yeah, that's the one below lot. He's talking, he's probably talking tilted buildings similar to the one that we now have on 89.
Correct, so that's what we're interested in doing, inside that buildings.
Right, so it'll be something similar to what we now have on the side of what we.
That's.
I knew that's where we would go. Thank you for sharing.
Like a video, like Boyer one on the highway.
Just like, yeah, just like.
Well, bigger,
No, just
about the same size,
about the same things.
about like the one on the highway.
Actually, a little bit smaller, because I believe those are like 301,000 square feet.
I'm not sure, I just looked at the class. All right, sorry.
It'll be similar to what we're doing.
And there's been several sizes out there. All right, let's go ahead to item 5.
Thank you so much.
Comments relative to the student planning or board.
No, this is the only item for this month that we're planning on. We were able to get it in time, so. I do have a couple of comments, if that's all
I
right.
was just gonna say staff.
Thanks. Just to let you know, in the last few days, Commissioner Park has decided to resign from the commission for some personal reasons. Felt that it would be better for his, sort of his life makeup and how we want to spend his time to do that. So he's no longer serving on the commission. And so we can probably find a way to share it next week. And then another note, we do have, so we'll make the changes that were specified on these minutes and then get those posted. And then
I know you're so excited. We have a batch of, I think, 5 more meetings. And this should be the last batch and we'll be all caught up. So I know you've requested that the minutes come out as early as possible. They're ready to be reviewed. So probably send them out early next week and that should give you a full month to enjoy the wonderful reading. So. Yeah, that's everything I have.
Amy? Amy?
No, just thank you for your service, and
Would you say, Greg, is that over with, or is that-
it is over with. Yeah, that was last week.
was it,
I don't know. I was out of town. I bet it was fun. I did coordinate one of the mobile tours to the Utah Daughters of the Pioneers. I just said it wrong, I think. Yeah, it was in Ogden, so
APA was in Ogden?
It was.
it's quite the drive. Yeah. From what I understand, it went really well.
I heard positive comments about it.
Sarah, anything from city council you'd like to update us with?
I said a whole lot last time, I don't know, we still have that meeting in November 4th, that's planning session for city council and staff. I think they're meeting
8 to 10, yeah.
8 to 10, yeah. The city's conference is coming up on October 21st through the 6th. That's always a fun event over here at the Sparkle Park. The Bridgewater Foundation, we're putting up the flags again for Veterans Week, starting November 1st to the 12th. And monuments getting close to being, we're finalizing some things and hopefully we're trying to look at a date for vacation, we'll let you know. When we can finally do that. And we have some exciting things coming up that will affect you guys too, possibly about, ordinance language and planning and stuff for, some areas and stuff. Hopefully sooner than later. Oh, pickleball. We did go out to bid this week, right?
Mhm.
Yes, we did.
Mhm.
And so the bid is actively open for
grading and
for grading
prep work.
and prep. Not building yet or anything like that. The hope is to have it graded and prepped and let it sit over the winter. And then, start the construction maybe end of March, April, if we're really being positive.
Brandon, do you mind, or Chair, whoever, if I add one more item, sorry. This is exciting news. We got our letter of compliance back from the state of Utah on our housing requirements.
Is it the moderate income housing?
Uh-huh. It's a lot of hoops and it's very, very great news to get that
That's one of
back.
the things that we're working on too.
Mhm. Yeah, middle housing,
Hey, there's no other comments.
team effort.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.
I feel like Commissioner Stokes is waiting for that moment.